Meme offices, just opposite BAM petrol station. And with your host, Sam Ahimsiwe. And like usual, this weekend we focus on the relevance of the internet in Uganda's politics. This is something that is a no-brainer to everyone who is watching us. You at least have been influenced or affected in one way or the other. In January 2021, during the presidential elections, we all witnessed a 5-day shutdown of the internet use, which of course saw a lot of businesses affected, a lot of social media platforms and telecommunication companies suffer great losses. It is actually from the UCC report that indicates that a lot of business was affected, inclusive of the telecommunication companies. That notwithstanding, we also witnessed the OTT tax that was imposed in 2018 on the account that people were misusing their internet and social media platforms. This, of course, attracted a certain methods by the public to use other alternatives by using VPN to bypass the tax, which also witnessed the government losing some money and thus scrapping off that tax and imposing the 12% tax after failing to achieve their desired target of 400 billion. Also, it is the hot cake in the news as we speak now about Lumbuye. Fred Lumbuye, who is a Turkey-based Ugandan, who has taken a lot to make sure that he, in what some people may term as misuse of the internet. In studio, I am joined by a person who is well known to us, former guild president, Bishop Stewart University, a regular panelist here, and a person who is a former aspirant for the youth member of parliament, and somebody that has taken a lot in the space of politics. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning to our dear viewers outside there. Let me say happy Sunday.
Thank you very much. First things first. My first question is, what we all are given the rights and freedoms of expression, press, and speech. Why is it that is this being misused? Is it going past where it is supposed to stop?
Well, we have freedom of expression, like I've said, as Ugandans. But there are people who are scared by what people or what other fellows are saying. The moment they give you freedom of speech and you talk about the point that really hurts the person with authority, he thinks ahead of you and he can look for the ways how best he can manage you.
Especially when he's a person in position of power.
That's why I've said a person with authority. The moment he's in power, know that he has the capacity and the powers of controlling everything.
Taking into account that, to what extent should we stop or have a limit in our expression and enjoyment of those rights and freedoms?
Of course, this should be done according to the Constitution. We are guided by the Constitution. Talking about you doesn't mean surely that violating your rights or my rights. As long as I'm talking in a way I'm supposed to be talking as a Ugandan. Talking about your maybe performance in a certain office given to you, or commenting about the way you're handling things does not really mean that I'm violating your rights. The problem we have in Uganda is that people don't want to hear negative things about their bosses, or don't want to hear people talk about them negative things. They just want us to talk what they want to hear. And that's very dangerous. Surely people have freedom, have a right to express their feeling, have a freedom of expression, have the right to talk about you, you have the right to condemn anything negative about you.
While all that is being said and done, recently there came reports which I can confirm to say they are fake because they announced that the president was dead and also some other members of the first family. Somebody who publishes such information, of course, has other motives like benefiting from the likes and views and earning from such platforms. But which image is it painting? And is that
according to my understanding, there are some of our fellow Ugandans who go beyond and misuse internet. Like I've said, there's no way you should announce somebody's name. And I think according to the law, if you do it once, you're right, and you're free to do so. But if you do it twice, then that very somebody has the right to sue you and take you to court. Because I may say something according to how I've got it from the community. I know you were talking about Comrade Rumbuye. It's true Rumbuye announced the president dead. But you
not only the president, also the Kabaka.
It's okay, but I'm looking at the president.
Yes.
And the first instance, you may find he was right according to his sources of information. But the moment you reset that very statement and tell people that the president is dead and I'm sure he's dead, then the president has the right to sue you and take you to court of law. Yeah, but still Rumbuye has the right to condemn all negative things. You have the right to condemn all the negative things in a mighty country because it is our right to say this is bad and this is good.
Thank you very much for that submission. Now, I believe you are aware of what is happening currently, not only in Uganda, but also worldwide, where racism, for example, is on the rise. Black players and people are being abused on social media platforms. Which drives me to the second question, and is it a matter or question of weak policies that are inconsiderate and not contextual in terms of being able to assist different parties who are engaged and involved in the usage of these platforms? Is it a question of weak policies by, of course, the owners of these social media platforms, or it is the government's ardent desire to say, let us clear our image from being tainted?
First of all, we have to first understand the interests of those people who created those very internet, I don't know how I may call them, who created the internet or a Facebook or whatever.
Yes.
We have to first understand their interests. Their interest is to earn more out of that, all right? However, to some extent, we must maybe blame them because they have not introduced very bold and favorable policies. And as well, they have not sensitized the community on what this social media is for, right? We shouldn't be using the social media platforms to abuse. We should be using social media platforms to awake and to sensitize and communicate as well. There is no way a reasonable man, a reasonable person can go on either Facebook or Twitter or YouTube and start abusing a very sensitive human being as well. So it is a lot of both the government and maybe the social media platform owners to sensitize and alert, because social media is key and important in this nation. It has made us, actually, it has made very many people communicate even when they are not in the same place. It has, to some extent, is a business of some people in this country, right?
People do advertise,
yes.
They promote their business.
They promote their businesses from there. So the main important thing in this is to sensitize and actually have favorable policies from the both parties that favors the community to carry out their businesses, to communicate, to deliver what is important.
Thank you very much. Our viewers, you can also be part of this very program by sharing with us your thoughts and ideas and opinions on the relevance of the internet in Uganda's politics. While all this is happening, while some sections of people are misusing the internet and others utilizing and using it for the good purposes like promotion, advertisement, marketing, and all what have you, we find that whatever results from these clashes between the two, either governments with platforms or within the individuals utilizing the platform, the end users tend to suffer the consequences. A case in point is when the internet was locked down just on the account of fearing to spread false information. Some businesses were affected.
Absolutely.
Some people who are not even aware of whatever is, who are not even interested in politics, have found themselves affected. What can we do to at least aid this in terms of these policies?
You see, it is quite much important to first understand maybe why government did so during election time. Even after election time, people can as well communicate or give wrong information or false information. But maybe the interest of the government in shutting down the social media platforms during elections was after protecting them maybe from doing what I may call unnecessary campaigns on the side of the government. Because people use that, yes, they are mature that they are quite much sure that the largest percentage of people who are using social media are youth, and the youth can be easily influenced by just a small very thing. So somebody can stand either in Kampala and communicate, either something positive or negative,
and it's followed.
Either something true or false, and that very thing can change a lot of people, can change the reasoning of a lot of Ugandans, most especially young people. So government was not looking at maybe spreading false information, no right information. They were looking at protecting themselves and in order to reach their interests. Therefore, I don't think it was right for them to shut down the social media platforms during that very time. It was the only way for us to communicate. After all, we were not free. We remember we have been in a pandemic. We conducted our election in a pandemic, right? Yes. We had to communicate with our fellows via different media platforms, but they, of course, abused our rights of communication, of expression as well.
Now, I want to ask you, if I know that Mr. Denmark, if I do such and such a thing, I automatically detect and know the response he's going to have. Can I regulate myself and make sure that at least I do not make that person's interests achieved? What am I trying to mean? If you know that by misusing the internet, the government is going to respond, can't you handle yourself in a way that achieves your target, but also does not lead to infringement on your rights after the government's response?
Of course, that what depends on my interests as an individual, and as well the environment I'm in. In a country like Uganda, there is no way how you can tell youths to regulate and control themselves from misusing the social media or communicating. The problem of this country we have, our mother country Uganda, and our leaders, is that leaders want us to communicate what they want to hear, not what we want them to do, what to hear.
Or even when you want to correct them, there is a certain format you should go through.
Which format? Because we have always raised our voices higher and we have not been given attention. So at that very moment, they have, or the only option they had was to do what? To control us from, using the social media platforms that very way. Because they wanted us to communicate what they want here, and of course as young people, we were not in a position to do so. That's the main reason why I think they had to shut down all media platforms.
Now, we observe that these social media platforms First of all, they are independent and they are owned by people who are not particularly us. But an example is, for example, on YouTube, you cannot just post something that is morally, like sexually inappropriate. There are policies that will automatically refuse any information that is in that area. And I believe with the technology that we have, it is very possible and in the means of these platforms to have policies that completely and automatically stop this information from spreading. That is for the case of misuse. But these platforms have still not come out to achieve that.
Yeah. From the beginning, I said the people who created these social media platforms have got different interests.
Yes.
You may find the interest of YouTube favors their mode of operation. And you may find the interest of Facebook is to earn. And for them to earn, they must have got a very, very, very big number of viewers, people following the users of Facebook. And they know that the policies, like those of YouTube, that if you share something, we can stop you from spreading it, or we can do this, or we can do this. They know that the moment they introduce such policies, people run away from such a very site or social media.
There are many sites also out there.
Yes, because there are very many sites out there that favor the interests of people, young people, for example. Because what are the interests of the people now? Most especially young Ugandans. Like I've said, the politics is a very, very, very big thing. Most of us are interested in politics. The next thing is research. So if you post policies on Facebook, say please don't share something concerning with the head of the state, don't say anything about Diana Twine. If you say we are going to ban you from there, then who will be on Facebook? It means you remain with a small number of people, and at the end of it all, you, the owner or the founder or the creator of the Facebook platform, you end up not reaching or making your goals or your interests and objectives as well. Therefore, somehow you have to be flexible and admit where they abuse the head of state, it's not your problem.
Well, I believe he has been abused several times, but now, I want to ask, with these platforms are independent, can we strike a balance to have all the sides either advocated for or generally punished? I'll give you an example. The Facebook platform came out to block and delete certain accounts of members purported to be NRM members. The Ashbag, Kato, Full Figure.
Not all NRM members, don't precise this. Even you, if you say something maybe against NRM at the moment, you can be easily, blocked. We have seen our friends Christine Begibisa cry. I've seen our colleague Nasasa Barnabas Kifefe cry that they have deleted me, they have blocked me from doing this. So it's not only, that was propaganda, and of course Ashbag Kato was earning much out of that. He was just raising his voice. Is he not on Facebook now? And which account is he using?
Well, if you're blocked, you can create another one anytime you want. But then, now, can we have a point of equilibrium strike to have, say if it is Facebook, it has clear policies that are well known. Whether you're NRM, whether you're DP, whether you're JMA, as long as you infringe, you're automatically deleted. Even without any kind of intervention. But then, if you've observed, it has been much leaning on one side and leaving the other to rotate free. What do you say of that?
I think that's a very key and important thing. We should be looking at having clear policies. But in my own understanding, I think it is impossible as well, because like I said, the interests, if they are the owners or the people created the Facebook platform have got their interests and they know their policies cannot favor them reach their interests, why should they put there such policies? Instead, that's why you see in a period of where they expect a lot of issues and problems, the government works hand in hand with them and they cross you for a short period.
That drives me to the reports where when the president was pronounced dead by some people who falsely accused so, he came out to say we are going to track.
But why was he bothered tracking them? He was alive. You know,
No.
there are issues we shouldn't be. Actually, I was disappointed by the president. Why would he,
Okay.
get annoyed with such a thing? If I say you're dead and you're alive, what's the problem with that?
But also,
What do you lose?
there's nothing that I lose, but certain people have different interests. While you may not worry about that,
Yes.
me,
Yes.
I may feel my image is tainted. Because when I appear somewhere, they would say a ghost has come and maybe people get scared. But to some people, you should not, and I believe there are rights which protect their integrity and confidentiality and their image. So, but when that happened, the president came out and said we are going to track those who did so. Can we adopt the same policy to track whoever misuses and we punish that person without general consequences that are going to affect innocent people?
From the beginning, I said I have. Personally, I agree with that, and it's a very good thing because at the end of it all, we shall end up being victims of the same problem. The following day, they abuse you the way they want. Well, personally, I may not be affected. If you abuse me, I'll say what?
Yes.
But it's the other person who may feel embarrassed if you abuse him, if you say something against him. But the reason why I was saying I was shocked by the statement made by the president is that previously you've been seeing people, publishing the images of the president in cartoon format, but he has not even tried to, attack them. But when Rumbuya said something, I don't think maybe they are tracking Rumbuya because he announced the president dead. There are very many things he said. Very many things he said. And those are the things, to me and my own understanding, that made the president come out and speak. Not announcing him dead. There are very many things they have said about the president, which are even beyond that. The moment you're in a public office, you're a public asset. People have rights to say anything about you. Much as you have rights also to defend yourself for now.
But I believe in so, you're not supposed to go beyond certain limits. For example, if by saying anything you want on the president, he also has his own rights of protecting his own integrity and
protecting his integrity
as a person
does not necessarily mean
as a
that he
head of
should
state.
look for somebody who said so. He has to come on air and say, please you people, I'm alive. That very person who said so was a lie. You are protecting yourself. Because he has the capacity to go on any television and to communicate.
You see,
the capacity to go on any radio and communicate that I'm Mr. Museveni, I'm alive. The other so
where he doesn't even have to make a statement as long as he appears in public. That
Yes,
doesn't
he's
happen to
alive.
him.
So
But then,
to me,
Mr. Lindmark, when you said that, then you try to seem to protect those people who misuse the internet. Are you against people?
not protecting them, actually not protecting them, but actually I'm trying to show another method of maybe how one can create his image in the public. Like you said, because we were basing on the point, say the president, they announced him dead, so he did so and so to protect his image. But he has other means of creating and protecting his image in the public, not necessarily arresting those who said he's dead. Instead, just say that thing is, he said so because he's in politics, he's just playing politics.
Now, when you're studying and making research on the internet, there are very many organizations that are there purposely to manage the use of the internet. And these are above all social media platforms, whether you're Facebook, whether you're the end user, whoever uses the internet, there are certain regulations. Can we have uniform uniform policies to make sure that we manage the use of the internet, especially when you know and consider that the fact that it infringes on political aspirations of governments, then the consequences we all know, especially when it comes to Africa. This is a question that Mr. Denmark is going to answer just after this break, but you can also be part of this very interesting topic where we discuss the relevance of the internet in Uganda's politics. It has been all said that different people have misused the internet while others have benefited from the internet. But can we strike a balance? Can we attain an equilibrium to have internet, one, relevant, but also internet that can be used and enjoyed by everyone without infringement on anyone's right? This and much more we shall present after this short break.
How to tell the difference between real or fake honey.
Get natural honey only from our Pure Bees Products Limited, leaders in bee farming, bee consultancy, bee hives, standard honey extraction equipment, bee products value addition, and fumigation.
Find us in Badara City, in Tare Road, opposite Stanbic Bank, or call us on 0784-278172 or 0709-844134. You can also buy our honey from www.guzaug.com.
Do you have Uganda at heart? How about buying products made in Uganda by Ugandans from a Ugandan online shop anywhere, anytime?
Introducing GuzaUG.com, a one-stop center for Uganda's locally made products. Buy Uganda, build Uganda.
Welcome back from that very short break. And yes, it is AIT TV, the station you are watching right now, and we are discussing the relevance of the internet in Uganda's politics. We have looked at how, of course, some scenarios where the internet has been misused, but also internet has also been used in ways that have benefited and made money to people. We also observe that while these people are misusing the internet, the primary motive behind them is to attract a certain bigger audience, which implies that they are getting more money from this.
Sorry, that's what I wanted to say. The first question we should ask ourselves is that Mr. Rumbe has been spending much time using Facebook and maybe insulting or abusing, and even YouTube, and maybe insulting and maybe abusing some big figures in the country. But what we should ask ourselves is that how is Mr. Rumbe benefiting out of this?
Yeah, because no one wakes up
and start that thing, waste time on that.
That is addressing
Second,
the root cause.
Another thing we should look at, how is Facebook benefiting on Rumbe? Or how is YouTube? How are the founders of the managers of the YouTube benefiting out of Rumbe? So, to come up with such clear policies of maybe stopping Mr. Rumbe from talking about the head of the state, it is good, but in my own understanding, it is impossible. Facebook is somebody's business.
Yes.
YouTube is somebody's business. Right? It's like you have a shop around here, and maybe I'm a landlord of the house, and you start telling me that don't always make noise calling customers.
And yet you want to rent at the end.
And yet you want to rent at the end of the month.
Yes.
That's something impossible. And even if you come out with such a policy, I'll look at the Facebook managers and YouTube managers or social media platform managers as people who have no serious objectives. Yes, it's not a guarantee that whoever posts on Facebook posts something good. No, it's not a must. And it cannot be a must that whoever maybe posts on YouTube posts something good there. There are people who want to see wrong things.
Yes.
Yes.
They just
And
enjoy
they
the
have
games.
rights too.
Should we
We
from this
shouldn't
point?
maybe pervert their rights or abuse their rights. They are entitled to that because that's what they believe in.
From your submission, should we make or draft a conclusion that whatever information we find on social media, we cannot authenticate and know that it is it is proper? Should we regard it as something that is far from being true?
It cannot be far from. It depends on your belief as an individual and your interest as an individual.
If they say the president has died and I believe it,
I try to find
but
out
we-
how, when they say this, so I do not immediately believe in them or so other people posted so. Instead, what I did as a person, I had to find out whether the president is dead. And at the end of it all, I found he was not dead. So Rumbe is a lie. But I cannot abuse him. I know he was doing his business in that way. And above it all, you know that the president is a public asset. You have a right to talk about him the way you want. You get my point?
yes.
I have a right to say anything about the president.
But
Basically-
also, you have to take into account that he also has his own rights.
To protect himself.
Yes.
And I'm sure Rumbe, even if Rumbe goes to court, he shall be having lawyers to protect him.
Of course, the lawyers are always there to vindicate the law, to justify anyone.
Yes, and you actually may even get surprised if Rumbe wins the case. Say
Yeah.
he was right to say so because his source of information is ABCD. He got this information from there and he had to because there is no way you can say Rumbe was wrong. He was not wrong.
Yeah,
First find out the source of information, where
Yes.
you got that information from. We may actually find that we are the people who are wrong. Or in
Well,
actual sense, the president is not even alive.
It is purport. It is a purported.
You're not sure whether he's
at
alive.
least he was on the news yesterday, and he also made a presidential address. At least we are sure that he's alive. But let's not dwell so much on that. And what I want to ask is that addressing the root causes of all this, as I had earlier put it to you, that we can have policies that are on top of Facebook. Because trying to address this from the Facebook level, from these social media platforms level, as you had said, for them they are here into business.
Absolutely.
If Denmark attracts a certain audience as a company,
I earn.
yes, you earn, and Facebook also earns from those people. Do you believe we can have regulations at the top from the organizations that manage the use of the internet, where also Facebook and other social media platforms subject their influence to?
You see, if you come out with regulation that chases away people like Rumbe, people like Tom Vorotia Ukwalinga, it means that at the end of the day you may not your expectations as managers of the Facebook or social media platforms. So, however, to some extent is good, maybe to guide the government on how to treat such people, maybe to sensitize we the users of the social media platforms that beyond this, it is bad.
Now, Mr. Denmark, I am not at the level of the government or even at the international stage of the social media platforms. I am looking at the bigger picture of, technology is so advanced these days that we have artificial intelligence, machine learning. We are able to detect and automatically determine that this content is not appropriate for public consumption. And therefore, automatically it is scrapped off.
You see,
even when you change.
and that's very wrong. Or how do you dictate that this comment is not good for public consumption? Yet, me, the person who have put there that very comment, they know it is good for the public.
Now, Mr. Denmark,
That's abusing somebody's right. Actually, that's what I may call that's chasing away customers. If you have opened Facebook for people to use it, you don't have to say put there this and don't put there this. If I put my comment, whether it's negative or positive, leave it there. Whoever understand, because we understand in different ways. You may get it in the right way, and I get it in a negative way. That's why you see a man like Rumbuye, even when some people said he was lying, but very many people were happy and following him. Every day, he was getting very many people.
now, Mr. Denmark,
And why that people were following him, yet they were quite much sure that what he was telling them is a right.
well, there is no smoke without fire.
Yes.
I can't absolutely say that whatever he was saying was false. There was some part of
Which
it
are
that
right.
was right. Another.
The
But
important
Denmark,
thing in that is to know the source of his information.
well, I believe if we were to ask Mr. Rumbuye to present his sources, even his sources are purported to be scared, like they are not, because of the authenticity and lack of evidence to present. But that aside, Mr. Denmark, you are a renowned figure in this district and even this country as a vibrant youth. But I believe there are some young people that are looking up to you. These people yearn so much, they go to Twitter to follow you, they go to Instagram to follow you and all that. When you come out and publish information that is not authenticated and it is misleading, don't you feel that there is somebody's future that you're tainting, somebody's future that you are trying to distort?
Absolutely. And I want to rule out a point of interest. We have terrorists in the country. Have you heard of, I don't know whether you have ever heard of Jamil Mukuru?
Yes, I heard it.
Do you think him being a rebel was wrong or good?
It depends on which point you look at it.
Very good. I may publish something.
Even our president
maybe
started as a rebel.
As a rebel.
Yeah.
And the end of it all, he helped the country
Yes, yes.
in his ways. And so it depends on my interests. I may publish something or put something on my Facebook page. And for a short period of time, it may affect some individuals in the country or outside the country. But either at the end of 2-3 years, it helps them in one way or another. When rebels come, or terrorists come in this country, I'm rest assured everybody can condemn them in one way or another. But what is important to those terrorists or that group of rebels is to meet their objectives at the end of the day.
No,
And that's key. That's a very, very key point. I
Yes.
don't want you to rule out.
I want you to demystify that
Yes.
and lower it to the point of you, Mr. Denmark. You are very respected. There are young children, maybe in primary, that are looking
Yes.
up to you.
Yes.
But you come out and post something, maybe which is misleading, and these people are fed with this information and believe that since it is from Denmark, this has to be true.
Good thing, good
They
thing,
find it
good thing have been media for quite well, good period of time. I remember, I think it was it in 2006, 2004, when they asked a well-known figure and a very good gentleman, the brilliant gentleman in this country, Andrew Mwenda, about gayism. They asked him, "Are you a gay?" What did he answer?
Well, I was not there.
Have you been following Madame Stella Nyanzi?
Yes.
Is she not a prominent person?
Yeah.
Is she not a doctor?
Yes.
Is she not well educated?
Yes.
Is she not wise?
Yes.
Go there and see what she posts. Are they misleading or encouraging? It depends on the
So,
interest of somebody.
You're trying to say that as children,
Yes.
they are supposed to be so much conscious with the way they select the people they want to follow
Absolutely.
and be mentored.
And of course, it depends on the group I'm targeting as an individual. Because you may find a young person who is in the P4 is looking up to me as his role model.
But you have your own
But I have another group I'm looking at, and that's the group I'm maybe inspiring. I'm looking at inspiring. Let's say if my group are university students, then whichever I post, I'm sure it won't be good to that very kid who is in P4, that very young person who is in P2. But a university student will understand why I have posted that. He will even know how he can use it, how he can use that information to make him reach his goals or his objectives.
Yes.
Because even when we have role models, we don't admire everything from them. There are few things we are always looking up.
Yes.
Not so. And those very things, at times, even when we meet them, we ask them. If you have a role model, maybe you meet him, you ask him, how can I be like this?
Yes.
You get my point? For example, in this country, my role model is Dr. Kizames. He's a medical doctor, I'm an agribusiness personnel. But that one does not make him, does not make me run away from him because he's a medical doctor and I'm an agribusiness personnel, yet I want to be like him in a political line.
Yes.
I see Dr. Bessie as a failure in politics, me I see him as a successful man.
And I believe there are certain qualities that you also admire from the head of state.
Yeah, they are there.
Yes.
But those qualities does not make me fall for him.
Yeah. But at least
Or
there's
look at
something
him as
that
a role model.
you...
Yes. So the most important thing is that first and foremost, if I'm sure that I'm inspiring a certain group of people, what is that certain group of people looking for in me? Which content should I feed that very group of people?
Yes.
That's why maybe I cannot wake up in the morning and post photos on my Facebook drinking beer. I cannot. I may not be a Christian, but there's no reason why I should do such.
Yes.
Because I know that a group of people maybe I'm inspiring wants this content.
Yes.
If the content is political, we always give them political. If the content maybe is agriculture, can give them something in relation with agriculture.
Yes.
But not my social, my private life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Denmark, for your submission and yes, for everything that, and also the time for coming here and always sharing your mind on these issues that are pertinent to us as the youth. But to our youth out there that are watching us, it is not in order for you to absolutely go in for everything that is consumed and published on these social media platforms. It is always important for you to be selective and go for those that are important, like certain values that you admire from different people, but also do not entirely rely or engage in information that you have not authenticated its source and use. Thank you very much. But as we part shots on this, I want to seek your final word on going forward. How can we harmoniously use the internet, everyone considering everyone's rights, and we use it in a way that is comfortable and not misleading in terms of affecting businesses and other entities?
Thank you. You see, the important thing in this may be the message I can give to my fellow youths.
Who are using this platform?
Yes. I'll maybe advise them to come from me as a person, as an individual. Every day we wake up in the morning, I have to first ask myself, what is internet for in my life?
Yes.
So before I open my Facebook, I see what am I looking on Facebook.
Is it a matter of addiction?
Yeah, is it a matter of addiction? Is it a matter of posting anything? Really not. I again see who are the people I'm supposed to follow. What do I want from them? Alright? Then I open my Facebook. If I want to post something, I post something. Right? If I want to follow someone and see maybe what has he or she posted for the last 2 or 3 days, I go there. The same applies to Twitter. But still I cannot condemn so and so If I don't want to see what he posts, I don't go there. Because it's none of my businesses. We have no right to control either you or Rumbuye or Broga Shpakato from not posting. Because he has also his target group he wants. And that target group is also there waiting for his posts, whether they are negative or positive.
He has its own motives.
Yes, he has his own motives, and those people also there waiting for his information.
Yes.
And because if I may ask you a simple question, I think, I don't know where the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, whether it's on Facebook, he can post there and Rumbuye posts.
Yes, it's up to you to decide where to.
Yes. And I can tell you that even if the Archbishop posts now and Rumbuye posts now that I'm available, I'm here and here, the Rumbuye can get a lot of comments and likes than the Archbishop. Meaning that whoever is on social media, whoever uses social media has his own interest and have no right to route who to post and who not to post, what to post and what not to post.
Thank you very much.
My fellows out there who are using social media platforms, just mind your business. Know why you should post, know whom you should follow, right? But don't just ask yourself maybe why you have posted this. You have your own interest as an individual.
Thank you very much. As Mr. Denmark has rightly put it, it is more of a personal call and choice to determine what content you're going to consume and why you're consuming that content. Otherwise, that has its own adverse effects on the future of yourself, but also on the other features, considering the fact that there are other policies and governments and entities that play part in what results from your actions of the use of the internet. Thank you very much, Mr. Denmark Adios, for always coming and honoring this program and always sharing your information. And also to our viewers of AYIT TV, we can never thank you enough for your tremendous efforts to always tune in every Sunday at 11 a.m. But also the fact that you are able to continue the conversation and be able to catch this program always, that is available on Facebook, it is available on YouTube. And the fact that we have hit the 1K likes and subscribers on YouTube, it is an opportunity for you to advertise with us here at AYIT TV, where we have stimulus and appropriate packages for your businesses. It is our aim that you grow while we also grow with you. Thank you very much. Until next time, stay blessed.
Do you have Uganda at heart?